The world respects strength, not noise. And yet, most people today are either too passive to stand up, or too reactive to stay grounded. But what if you could become unshakable? Not loud, not violent, but a weapon under control. The Stoics didn't just talk about peace. They lived through war, betrayal, exile, and loss. Marcus Aurelius was a general. Epictetus was a slave. Seneca advised emperors. These weren't philosophers sitting on cushions. They were warriors of the mind. In this video, I'll show you the Stoic warrior code, a mindset built to help you walk through fire without blinking. You'll learn how to master your emotions, stay calm under pressure, and become dangerous in the best way possible. Stick around till the end. The final principle might just make you rethink how you face fear forever. And hey, if you've ever felt like the world's testing your patience, drop a comment. I'm built for this. Let's begin. Part 1. Speak less. Move sharper. Stoic silence as a strategic weapon. The Stoics believed something radical. Your silence can be louder than any speech. In today's world, everyone is performing, shouting into the void, chasing likes, chasing applause. But the Stoic warrior, he walks the opposite path. Marcus Aurelius ruled the greatest empire of his time, and yet he wrote privately to himself. Not for fame, not to impress, but to stay grounded, focused, free. He didn't need noise to validate his power. His presence spoke for him, and Epictetus, a slave turned teacher, he said it straight. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. That's it. You don't have to talk about who you are when your actions make it obvious. See, there's a dangerous strength in restraint. Silence isn't weakness, it's a weapon. When you choose not to speak, you create mystery. When you don't rush to defend yourself, people lean in. When you listen instead of interrupt, you gain leverage others miss. Think about it, the loudest person in the room, usually the most insecure. They need to be seen, they need approval. But the quiet one, the one who watches, studies, and chooses his words like a blade, that's the one people fear, because they don't know what he's thinking. And unpredictability is power. Stoic silence is not just about shutting your mouth, it's about sharpening your focus. It's about reading people, seeing beyond what they say into what they actually mean. It's about choosing when to strike with words that land, that cut, that command respect. Because if you talk all the time, your words mean nothing. But when you speak rarely, people listen. Now here's the real hack. When you train yourself to stop reacting, you stop being controlled. Think about how many times we give away our power, snapping back at insults, oversharing when we feel insecure, explaining ourselves to people who don't even deserve an answer. The Stoic warrior trains for the opposite. He lets others reveal their emotions while he remains still. He listens not to reply, but to understand. Because once you understand someone deeper than they understand themselves, you control the room. And when you speak, you don't speak to fill the silence. You speak to change the direction of things. That's how silence becomes strategy, and strategy becomes dominance. So don't be afraid to hold your tongue, to pause, to say nothing, because in that space, you become dangerous. Not because you shout, but because when you do speak, people listen. Part 2. Die before you die. How Stoics used death to stay unafraid. You could leave life right now. That's what Marcus Aurelius wrote. Not to scare you, but to wake you up. You could leave life right now, not next year, not when you're old, not after you finish your dreams. Right now, let that sink in, and let that decide what you do, say, and think. This wasn't poetry for the Stoics. It was a weapon, a daily ritual of clarity. They didn't fear death, they rehearsed it. Every morning, Marcus reminded himself he could die. Seneca wrote letters, preparing his soul for the end. Epictetus called death the most natural event in the universe, and the ultimate teacher of what truly matters. Because once you face death, really face it, what can shake you? Not failure, not embarrassment, not someone's opinion, not losing money, status, comfort, because none of it goes with you. Memento mori isn't about being dark or morbid, it's about being real. You know what's truly insane? Living like you'll live forever, delaying your dreams, avoiding hard conversations, hiding your truth, acting like time is infinite when it's not. The Stoic warrior flips the script. He doesn't avoid death, he befriends it. He dies before he dies. He imagines his last breath. He looks his mortality in the eye, not to give up, but to rise up. Because when you realize your time is limited, you become limitless. You stop waiting, you stop shrinking, you stop wasting precious moments on drama, gossip, jealousy, ego. You speak boldly, you love deeply, you create urgently. You move with a fire that's impossible to fake. Every hesitation becomes absurd. Every delay becomes dangerous. Because you know the clock's ticking and no one escapes it. Look around you. People walk through life asleep, scared to chase their purpose, scared to fail, scared to stand out. But you carry death on your shoulder, not as a curse, but as a compass. You measure every decision against the grave. Will this matter on my deathbed? If not, why the hell are you doing it? When you embrace your mortality, you don't die inside. You come alive because death strips away the noise. It kills the ego. It kills fear. It kills hesitation. What's left? Only truth, only courage, only what actually matters. That's why the Stoic warrior is dangerous. Not because he's reckless, but because he's unafraid. He's already accepted the end. So he plays full out, right now. No backup plan, no half measures, no waiting for someday. So the next time you hesitate to speak your truth, to start that project, to cut the toxic tie, to say I love you, to finally move. Stop, close your eyes, see the casket, smell the flowers, picture your name on the tombstone. Now ask yourself, what are you waiting for? Because you're not promised another day. And once you die, before you die, you're finally free to live. Part 3. Be dangerous. Be free, the final shift that makes you untouchable. Here's the truth. You will never be truly free until you become truly dangerous. Not violent, not reckless, but capable. Capable of facing chaos without crumbling. Capable of carrying your own weight and then some. Capable of choosing calm in the face of insult. Capable of walking away from anything or anyone because you don't need them to survive. That's dangerous, and that's what real freedom looks like. You see, the world doesn't fear the man who begs for help. It fears the man who can help himself and doesn't flinch. Most people think freedom means no rules, no boss, no deadlines, no pressure. But the Stoics knew better. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus, let that sink in. Freedom isn't found in escape. It's found in mastery. Mastery of your reactions. Mastery of your emotions. Mastery of your appetites, your thoughts, your fears, and above all, mastery of your mind. Because once you've mastered that, no one owns you. Not your boss, not your partner, not your past, not your cravings, or your trauma, or your insecurities. You become untouchable. The Stoic warrior is not a brute. He's not cold or cruel. He's clear. He trains himself in silence, while others chase distractions. He confronts his fears, while others numb them. He walks through pain, while others hide from it. He becomes dangerous not to harm, but to protect. Not to dominate, but to stand unmoved when the storm hits. He chooses to suffer in training, so he's strong in crisis. He denies himself luxury, so no one can bribe his peace. He walks away from comfort, so he never becomes its slave. Because, here's the thing no one tells you. You are either dangerous or dependent. There is no in-between, and dependence always comes with a cost. Silence, compliance, fear, but danger. The right kind of danger. It gives you back your spine, your soul, your freedom. You speak with calm because you're not afraid of being alone. You stand your ground because you don't fear rejection. You walk away from anything toxic because you know your worth. That's why the Stoics trained so relentlessly. Their strength wasn't for show, it was a shield. Against temptation, against manipulation, against fear. Because the most dangerous man in the room is the one who doesn't need anything from it. He's not chasing approval. He's not chasing applause. He's not trying to fit in because he already belongs to himself. And that's when the shift happens. When you stop outsourcing your power. When you stop waiting to be saved. When you start trusting that you are already equipped right now to handle life. Head dash on dot. When you become the kind of man who can walk into the fire and come out calmer than before. That's when the world starts to whisper, he's different. He's not afraid. He's free. So don't aim to be liked. Don't aim to be safe. Aim to be dangerous so you can finally be free.